Hello, 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 and welcome back to another conversation with JR. Here we like to prove that we are changing lives with a single conversation. I hope all is well with you. Time change has happened. We have set the clock back. It's getting darker earlier. The nights are longer, days are shorter. And so a lot of people are having difficulty, like myself, adjusting. But we will adjust and we will overcome and we will persevere. Today's tea, coffee, juice, whatever you like to call it, that I am sharing with you today is about a personal journey that I have been going through since September of this year. It is now November. And I am calling this podcast Free Your Mind. Remember way back in the day when the all female group in Vogue, um, sang this song, Free Your Mind, and the rest will follow? Well, I'm not claiming to own the rights to that song, but I started thinking about that song and the meaning of Free Your Mind once I got on this journey of freeing my mind. So, if you don't know the group in Vogue, it went something like this: Free your mind, and the rest will follow. And so, again, I do not own the rights to that song. A couple of months ago, I produced a YouTube video called The Impact of Negative Self Talk. I was reading this book, and this book was talking about how we sometimes in our thinking and our talking to ourselves that we do not have compassion for ourselves, and the way we talk to ourselves and beat upon ourselves, and the lack of compassion that we have for ourselves often lead us down into depression, other roads. But I would like to say personally for myself, regardless of how strong sometimes you think that we are, there are days when, these voices creep inside your head and they whisper damaging thoughts of negativity. And over time, if you and I don't monitor our thoughts and what they're doing to us, we become unaware of the harmful impact our negative thoughts, our negative talk have on us mentally and emotionally. 2 months ago, I started in September. I was headed down a dark hole of anger, depression, and resentment. And it was because of how I was personally feeling about the current position that I'm in. I am a clinical supervisor and the population that I work with had mental health and substance use issues. I've never worked with this population before, and it's tremendously stressful. It's social work. And after being in education for 25 years after we had the shutdown, my life changed, career changed, as I know with a lot of people. And I find myself struggling because I was working two part-time jobs. I couldn't work full-time in education anymore because I was working for a community college. And so I got tired of the struggling of working two part-time jobs, taking two paychecks and trying to make it into one, stretching a budget and working from paycheck to paycheck. So that was very exhausting. And it put a big financial strain on me where I became trapped in this vicious cycle of lack. So therefore, I put my resume out there. My friend who's a social worker, I put my resume out there. Lord and behold, I got this job. I won't name the agency, but I got this job. I wasn't expecting to get this job. I started this job as a case manager. 3 months later, I was promoted to supervisor because I was told, the higher ups told me that they liked my job performance. And I said, yay, I'm being promoted to clinical supervisor. Therefore, I'm working Monday through Friday. I have my weekends free. As a case manager, you don't. You either work Tuesday through Saturday or you only have 2 days off, and I had Sunday and Monday off, and I was really happy that I wouldn't have to work on weekends anymore. So just to give you background information and more pay and tremendous amount of responsibility and stress. Yes, tremendous amount of responsibility and stress. And so here we are 3 years later. I have completed a master's again, and I just thought that I would go back out there and I would get a job in education, but it didn't work out that way. It really didn't work out that way. Ageism is real. I keep saying that, but ageism is real. And for a lot of people, according to them, I did not have the qualifications because I spent many years in higher education, that I did not have the classroom experience of working at public schools. And so I'm in this position as a clinical supervisor. And like I said before, it's tremendously stressful. And I just didn't understand this type of work and working with this population of people. So along the way, I had started to become very desperate to find another position. I wanted to get out of this work, find another position. I'm paying so much money to have my resumes revamped, and I'm going on job interviews, and nothing is happening, and I'm willing to take a pay cut because I just want to get out of this job. And so I am becoming more and more angry every day, depressed, resentful, bitter, and I have to do a lot of pumping myself up before I go to work each day. But then I stopped to think in September when I started this journey of freeing my mind, renewing how I look at this position that I'm in right now, and being thankful and gratitude, and just really looking at where I was at. And, people say you have to be positive, you have to think positive. And I was never one of those people who, all go around talking about you got to be positive, think positive, and positive things will happen, and be positive, be positive, be positive. I used to think that that was a bunch of crap. I did. But when I sat down and I started this journey of renewing my mind and freeing myself from this bondage of anger and depression and bitterness and resentment that I have put myself in because I was doing it to myself, not the position. I was doing it to myself. And what I started to realize was my negative thinking, my negative self talk, all of this bitterness was having a harmful effect on my health. I connected it to my health. I wasn't sleeping well at night. I was taking a lot of melatonin, like the gummies. I was like eating those things. I wasn't sleeping well at night. I wasn't eating well, and I'm always angry and I'm always tired. I'm not hydrated. It was just a lot going on. And getting up in the morning was like a chore. I had to just like throw myself out of the bed in the morning. It was just, and I'm going through this day in and day out. If anybody out there listening can relate to this, I am hoping to help you to change your mind, free your mind, reset your thinking, reset your attitude, become aware of how, yes, a lot of times we can become our worst enemy. So I decided that what I was going to do is embark on a 30-day journey in September of every day I was going to write being thankful for this job, being thankful for this position. And I started looking up Bible verses about being thankful. I started looking up quotes about being thankful. And I started sharing them on my WordPress blog, this journey. And then I would cut things out in sayings and Bible verses, and I made a collage on my refrigerator so that I could see this. And I'm going to tell you that a miracle did not happen right away. But what happened right away is the awareness that I brought to myself about my thinking. and how this awareness was affecting me and affecting my life and my job and my attitude about a lot of things in life. And so I just kept going and I kept writing and I kept journaling, but I kept thinking about joyful things. And I started thinking about what I could find joyful to do at work, pleasing things at work, and not look at work as drudgery. Look at it as everyday. Vishima, you should be grateful for the fact that you can get up at the age of 61 and get up and physically go to work every day. That you have the strength, the energy, the emotional, and the mental, and the physical capacity to do this job every day. And that I'm around young people that make me laugh. We do laugh a lot at work. We have to. And that I am able to earn a paycheck to take care of myself. I'm self-sufficient. It's just me. It's just me and my little sidekick, Peanut, my little buddy. And all the things that this paycheck allows me to do. So then I started thinking about that every day. And I started listening to positive podcasts on the way to work. I started listening to joyful music in the morning instead of being, like, oh my God, I have to go out here. And over time, I started smiling a little more at work. I started looking at work as drudgery. I started feeling better. I was eating better, sleeping better, um, saying positive things about the job. And I was sharing it with other people. And I just kept going. And when I come home at night, I would look at my collage of joyful sayings, positive sayings, and I would repeat them. And I would think about something good that happened at work. I would think about something good, how I helped someone, and some of the changes that I am allowed to make at work. And I wasn't thinking about it, how I am able to take 25 years of education, teaching, training, coaching, inspiring, and motivating people. And now I'm allowed to do that at work by training the new case managers. I created a manual for them, which we didn't have before. And my director is very happy with that. And he's asking me to do more and to do more teaching, and how I'm taking a leadership role when we have the residents community meeting and I'm teaching seminars about money management and medication management and doing it through games and other creative outlets. See, I wasn't thinking about all of this and I wasn't looking at how I'm still able to use my background as a leader and as an educator at this job. So I started thinking about this every day. So the month of September passed, and I've gone through 30 days of renewing my mind, freeing my mind from all of this because I wanted to start feeling better. I got tired of feeling dark, and I got tired of feeling depressed and angry, and I just wanted the burden to be lifted. I have the power to lift the burden. I have the power to lift the burden. And so you are what you think. You are what you think. You are. I'm a firm believer in that. I am a firm believer in it. So September passed and I took down a collage and I kept it, and I have a treasure box that I put accomplishments in, and every now and then I take out this big giant shoebox and I go through it and I look at things that I have accomplished. So I started again in October. I said, no, let me keep going. Let me not stop. Let me keep going. So what I did in October, I did gratitude. And I looked at sayings about gratitude, poetry about gratitude, songs about gratitude, podcasts about gratitude, and I shared it. I shared it on my Facebook page. I shared it with other people who are going through furloughs, people who have lost their SNAP benefits. I started sharing this joy, this victory. I started sharing and I started feeling uplifted. Like I said, this is not a miracle. And people would say, yeah, it's positive thinking. No, it's more than positive thinking. It's about the awareness of what I was doing to myself because of my mind. Joyce Myers wrote a book many years ago, and I read that book, and I want to get the updated version about the battlefield of the mind and strongholds. And this is not a religious thing for me. It is not. But the battlefield of the mind and the strongholds and the things that we hold on to in our mind, it festers. That's what was happening to me. I was creating wounds. I was creating this darkness in my life. I was the one that was putting all this weight on